The universe is not a place you look at from the outside. It is a presence that lives and breathes through you. Each heartbeat, each quiet breath, each flicker of thought is part of the same grand rhythm, the pulse of creation itself. We tend to think of the cosmos as something far away, scattered across impossible distances. But in truth, it hums softly beneath the surface of your own awareness. What you are, in the deepest sense, is the universe observing itself, remembering itself, dreaming itself into being. Every moment is an unfolding, not a beginning or an ending, but a continuation of something infinite. Stars are born, worlds arise, and consciousness finds new forms through which to experience itself. In one sense, you are a human being made of flesh and bone. In another, you are an ancient vibration that has taken shape for a while to witness the miracle of existence. What appears as matter is not fixed or solid. It is light slowed down into patterns, energy condensing into form. You are light that has learned to think. Look closely at anything, a drop of water, a blade of grass, the face of a loved one, and you will see the same intelligence that orchestrates galaxies. It moves in spirals, in breath, in rhythm. It creates symmetry out of chaos and harmony out of movement. You are surrounded by this intelligence, and it also flows within you. The atoms in your body were forged in the hearts of stars long before Earth even existed. You carry within you the history of the cosmos, the memory of its birth, its fire, and its transformation. And yet, in the noise of daily life, we forget. We live as though we are separate, small beings lost in a vast, indifferent universe. But that separation is an illusion, a temporary dream created by consciousness to explore itself. You are not here by accident. You are here as part of a deliberate unfolding, a momentary expression of infinity trying to understand its own depth. The same awareness that ignited the stars is behind your eyes, watching, wondering, and learning. If you close your eyes and listen, not to the outer sounds, but to the quiet hum within, you can feel that deeper current. It has always been there, long before thought, long before words. It is not something you earn or find. It is what you already are. That stillness beneath all motion, that silent observer behind every thought, that is consciousness itself, the eternal witness of all things. Every civilization that has ever looked at the night sky has sensed this truth in some form. The ancients told stories about gods and stars, about creation and rebirth, because they could feel something vast moving through them, a force that could not be named but could be felt in every sunrise and heartbeat. Modern science, in its own language, tells the same story. Everything that exists is connected by energy, by the invisible threads of vibration that weave reality together. Whether you call it spirit, consciousness, or quantum potential, it is the same mystery wearing different faces. To understand this mystery, you don't have to look far away. You only need to look inward. The outer universe and the inner universe are mirrors, one reflecting the other. The vastness of space and the depth of the human mind are made of the same substance. When you feel awe while staring at the stars, it is because something within you recognizes itself. The light that shines from a distant galaxy and the light of awareness inside you are not two separate things. They are the same flame, seen from different perspectives. Awakening is not about discovering something new. It is about remembering what has always been true. It is about realizing that the boundaries between you and the rest of existence are made of thought, not reality. When those boundaries dissolve, even for a moment, everything changes. The trees seem to breathe, the air seems alive, and time itself slows into a gentle rhythm. You begin to see that everything, from the movement of clouds to the rise and fall of emotion, is part of one seamless motion. There is a language that the universe speaks, and it is not made of words. It speaks in vibration, in rhythm, in the subtle alignment of moments that seem to happen by chance. When you are quiet enough, you can feel this language moving through you. You notice the synchronicities, the right thought at the right time, the unexpected encounter, the feeling of guidance that has no logical explanation. This is not coincidence, it is communication. The universe does not speak in sentences, but in signs, in energy, in presence. To live consciously is to listen to that language, to align with the rhythm of the greater whole. It does not mean withdrawing from life. It means engaging with it more deeply, with awareness and reverence. Every conversation, every challenge, every act of kindness becomes part of the cosmic dialogue. You are not a separate observer of life. You are the medium through which life expresses itself. When you realize this, even the smallest actions take on profound meaning. There is no need to search for purpose in distant futures or hidden philosophies. Your purpose is presence, to be fully here, awake and aware in this moment. The more you open your awareness to what is, the more life reveals itself to you in layers of beauty and intelligence. The river does not need to know where it is going. It flows naturally, guided by the shape of the earth. The same intelligence guides you if you allow it. Trust in that current. All of existence is a great breath, expansion and contraction, creation and dissolution, inhaling and exhaling across eons. Galaxies are born, live and fade away in the same rhythm as your breath. When you breathe consciously, you are aligning with the universal flow, becoming aware of the life that sustains all things. You are not breathing air, you are breathing the cosmos. You are part of the exchange, the eternal circulation of energy between form and formlessness. And when you forget, when fear or doubt return, remember that forgetting is also part of the cycle. The universe forgets itself only to remember again through you. Just as night gives meaning to day, separation gives meaning to reunion. Each time you return to awareness, you deepen your understanding of what it means to be alive. So take a moment now, breathe and feel. The same force that moves galaxies moves within you. The same silence that surrounds the stars surrounds your thoughts. The same light that travels across time glows quietly behind your eyes. You are not in the universe. The universe is in you. And in that recognition, everything becomes sacred. Everything you see, everything you experience is a reflection of the consciousness that perceives it. The world does not exist apart from your awareness. It is shaped and illuminated by it. The sky, the trees, the people you meet, all appear within the field of your perception, within the infinite expanse of awareness that you truly are. You do not live in the world lives within you. The outer and inner are not two, they are one continuous movement, one seamless vibration. The universe expresses itself through contrast, through form and emptiness, sound and silence, light and shadow. Without darkness, light would have no meaning. Without silence, sound could not be heard. Reality is a dance between opposites, each giving birth to the other, each revealing the unity beneath apparent division. Consciousness, like a mirror, reflects everything it touches. It does not judge, it does not choose, it simply reveals. In that reflection, all things are equal. The beauty of a sunrise and the quiet sadness of a passing storm are both part of the same truth. When you stop resisting what is and allow reality to appear as it is, the mirror becomes clear, and what you see is not chaos, but perfection in motion. Every emotion, every experience is an opportunity to see yourself more deeply. When joy arises, it reflects your natural state of harmony. When sorrow arises, it reflects the longing of consciousness to return to wholeness. Nothing is wasted. Even pain, when seen with awareness, becomes a teacher, a doorway into greater compassion, patience, and understanding. Most people spend their lives running from discomfort, seeking only pleasure or distraction. But to awaken is to turn toward what is uncomfortable, with curiosity instead of fear. To ask, what is this moment trying to show me? Every feeling is a message from the deeper self. When you listen, you discover that even suffering carries wisdom. The key is not to resist life's flow, but to surrender to it, not as defeat, but as alignment. The river of existence knows where it is going. It does not fight the current. It moves effortlessly around obstacles, shaping its path with grace. You are that river. Life flows through you, not against you. When you stop struggling to control it, you begin to move with its rhythm, and everything falls into place in ways you could never have planned. In those moments of flow, time disappears, the mind grows quiet, the heart opens, and you feel connected to something vast and indescribable. That state is not something you must create. It is your natural state when the noise of thought subsides. Beneath all the layers of identity, beneath the stories and memories, you are pure awareness, limitless, luminous, and free. Thoughts come and go like clouds, but the sky remains untouched. You are the sky, vast, open, infinite. The clouds of thought may appear dense, but they cannot harm the sky. They pass, and stillness remains. When you stop identifying with the clouds and remember that you are the sky itself, life becomes lighter. You no longer need to chase or avoid what arises. You simply allow it to pass, knowing that your essence is never disturbed. The practice of presence is not about escaping the mind, but about seeing it clearly. When you observe thought without judgment, something shifts. The energy of attention transforms the thought from a prison into a path of insight. You begin to recognize that you are not your thoughts, you are the awareness in which they appear. This realization changes everything. The world that once seemed chaotic becomes harmonious. The same situations that used to provoke fear or anger now appear as lessons in disguise. Awareness does not eliminate challenges, but it changes your relationship with them. You move from reaction to response, from fear to understanding. In that space of understanding, compassion grows naturally. You begin to see others not as threats or strangers, but as reflections of the same consciousness looking through different eyes. The boundaries between self and other soften. You realize that everyone you meet, the kind, the cruel, the joyful, the lost, is a mirror showing you aspects of your own infinite being. This is why love is the essence of awakened living. True love is not attachment or desire. It is the recognition of yourself in another. It is the knowing that there is no other. Love sees beyond form, beyond behavior, beyond history. It sees the divine spark in all things, the same light that animates the stars and breathes life into you. When you live from that awareness, everything becomes sacred. Every act, no matter how small, becomes an offering to existence itself. Washing your hands, walking, speaking, listening, all become expressions of mindfulness. Life ceases to be something you endure and becomes something you participate in fully, consciously, joyfully. The more you surrender to awareness, the more you notice its intelligence guiding you. There are no accidents, only synchronicities, patterns of connection that reveal how deeply the universe is listening. When you follow intuition instead of fear, life aligns in mysterious and beautiful ways. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people, saying the right words, not through effort, but through attunement. This is the quiet magic of consciousness. It does not shout, it whispers. It does not demand, it invites. To hear it, you must become still enough to listen. The mind will tell you that stillness is emptiness, but stillness is fullness, the well from which all creation flows. When you touch that stillness, you touch the source. And from that source, you begin to see the interconnected design of everything. The same energy that forms stars flows through the roots of trees, through rivers, through your veins. The same intelligence that holds planets in orbit also shapes your life's path. You are not an isolated fragment. You are a thread in the living tapestry of the cosmos. When you recognize that, gratitude arises effortlessly. Gratitude is not a practice, it is the natural expression of awareness. To be grateful is to see clearly, to recognize the miracle of simply being alive. Even amidst uncertainty, even within loss, there is beauty. For every ending is a beginning in disguise. Look around you now, the stillness of the room, the rhythm of your breath, the subtle hum of existence. This moment, right now, contains everything. There is nowhere else to go, nothing else to become. You are already complete, already infinite. The journey is not about finding what is missing. It is about realizing that nothing ever was. You are consciousness, limitless, eternal, radiant, playing the game of being human for a little while. You are the silence, watching the story unfold, the awareness in which time and space appear. And when this story ends, as all stories do, you will not disappear. You will awaken again in another form, another world, another dream. Because consciousness never dies, it only transforms. So live gently, love deeply, and remember often. The universe is watching itself through your eyes, listening through your ears, feeling through your heart. There is a silence that lives beneath all sound, a stillness so vast that the entire universe moves within it. You have felt it before, in fleeting moments when time seems to pause, when your mind quiets and everything simply is. That stillness is not absence. It is presence itself, the foundation upon which reality unfolds. It is the space between breaths, the pause between heartbeats, the calm that remains when thought dissolves. In that stillness, you begin to see that life is not made of separate events, but of a single, unbroken movement. What you call beginnings and endings are simply transitions, waves rising and falling within the same ocean of consciousness. You have never truly started, nor will you ever truly end. You are the continuous unfolding of awareness, expressing itself through form, sound, and experience. Most people mistake the noise for the song. They chase the outer motion, trying to hold on to moments, fearing loss, fearing silence. But the silence is not something to be feared. It is the source of everything beautiful. It is from silence that music emerges, from emptiness that creation arises. Without the stillness beneath, there could be no movement, no sound, no existence at all. When you rest in that awareness, the world begins to look different. What once seemed random starts to reveal its order. What once felt heavy begins to feel light. You see that life is not happening to you, but through you. You are not a small fragment within the vast universe. You are the vastness itself, experiencing its own reflection through the lens of a temporary form. The mind tries to understand this truth, but the mind can only operate in fragments. It divides, labels, and compares. Awareness, however, is whole. It does not analyze, it simply knows. To awaken is to shift from thinking about life to directly experiencing it. It is the difference between studying light and feeling the warmth of the sun. In this state of awareness, time itself begins to lose its grip. You realize that the past is only memory, the future only imagination, and that all of existence unfolds in the eternal now. The present is not a fleeting instant, between what was and what will be. It is the infinite stage upon which everything appears. Every star that shines, every breath you take, every thought that passes, all happen now. The eternal is not a place in time. It is the presence within you that never changes. When you become aware of this, peace arises naturally. You no longer struggle to control life because you see that everything is unfolding with perfect precision. The same intelligence that moves planets and tides is guiding your every step. Even in confusion, even in loss, there is purpose, a hidden symmetry waiting to be seen. The challenges you face are not barriers, but invitations, doorways through which consciousness learns to recognize itself more deeply. To live in awareness is to trust this unfolding, to know that the rhythm of the universe beats within your own heart. It is to surrender, not in defeat, but in recognition of your true nature. Surrender is not giving up, it is giving in, allowing the flow of existence to carry you instead of resisting it. Like a leaf on the river, you move with the current, guided effortlessly toward the ocean. And as you flow, something miraculous happens. You begin to see beauty everywhere, not just in sunsets or mountains, but in ordinary moments, in the flicker of light across a wall, in the sound of rain, in the quiet presence of another human being. Beauty is not something external. It is a state of perception. When the mind is still, everything shines. This is the secret that the sages have always known, that heaven is not a place elsewhere, but a state of awareness here. You do not need to go anywhere to find it. You only need to stop searching and begin seeing. The sacred is not hidden. It is simply overlooked amid the noise of thought. When you are truly present, even the simplest moment becomes holy. You may have felt this before, perhaps while standing beneath the stars, or listening to the ocean, or watching someone you love sleep. In those moments, the boundaries dissolve, and you feel both infinite and intimate at once. You cannot describe it, but you know it. That knowing is the truth behind every spiritual teaching, every scientific wonder, every act of love. It is the recognition that there has never been separation, only the illusion of it. This illusion is not a mistake. It is part of the design. Without it, consciousness could not experience reunion, joy, or discovery. The universe hides itself within its own creation so that it can awaken again and again through every living being. You are one of those awakenings, a spark of awareness lighting up a corner of eternity. And yet, you are not the only one. Every person you meet carries that same spark, that same infinite potential. When you see them through the eyes of awareness, you recognize yourself. The walls between self and other crumble, replaced by a quiet compassion that needs no words. You realize that love is not something you give or receive. It is what remains when you stop pretending to be separate. As this understanding deepens, the fear of death begins to fade. Death is not an end, but a transformation, a return to the field of pure awareness from which you came. The wave may disappear, but the ocean remains. What you truly are was never born and will never die. You are the space in which birth and death occur, but which neither can touch. When you live with that awareness, every moment becomes precious. You stop rushing. You stop waiting for life to begin, because you see that it is happening now. You begin to live deliberately, not from habit, but from presence. Each step, each breath, each glance becomes an act of reverence for the mystery of being. And in this way, consciousness fulfills its purpose, not through grand achievements, but through simple awareness. The universe does not seek perfection. It seeks experience. It wants to know itself through you, through your laughter, your tears, your silence, your wonder. When you live with awareness, you become a channel for that knowing, a vessel through which existence flows freely. Even in moments of doubt, even when the mind forgets, awareness never leaves you. It watches patiently, like the sky watching the weather, untouched, unchanged, infinite. You can always return to it because it has never gone. Consciousness has always been expanding, evolving, awakening to itself through countless forms. From the birth of the first star to the rise of human thought, it has been the same energy, learning, growing, remembering. We are not the pinnacle of creation. We are one expression of a timeless process, one thread in the tapestry of an infinite story. The stars, the oceans, the forests, and our own hearts all are instruments through which existence experiences its own depth. Each moment of awareness is an act of creation. When you look at a sunrise and feel wonder, the universe is admiring itself through your eyes. When you love another being without condition, the universe is embracing itself in a moment of perfect reflection. Even your breath, quiet and unnoticed, is part of that divine rhythm, the inhale and exhale of a cosmos alive with awareness. And yet, this knowing often sleeps within us. It hides beneath the noise of thought, beneath layers of identity and fear. Humanity has forgotten its source, lost in the distractions of time, achievement, and survival. We look outward, searching for meaning in things, forgetting that the meaning we seek is the one who seeks. Every question, every desire, every longing for more is the whisper of consciousness calling you home. But awakening is inevitable. Just as night gives way to dawn, so too does unconsciousness yield to awareness. You cannot stop the sunrise, and you cannot stop the unfolding of consciousness. The world is shifting, gently but undeniably, toward remembrance. Remembrance of unity, of connection, of love that transcends form. This awakening does not come with noise or fire. It comes with stillness. It begins in the quiet realization that there is more to you than the voice in your head. It begins when you pause, when you stop running from the present moment and allow yourself to feel it fully. The air, the silence, the aliveness of being here. In that moment of awareness, something ancient stirs within you. You begin to sense that what you call me is not confined to a body or a mind, but extends into everything you touch, everything you see, everything you are. The awakening of consciousness is not a personal achievement. It is not something you earn or attain. It is simply the realization of what has always been true. You are not becoming something new. You are remembering what you have always been. Infinite awareness, experiencing itself as a human being for a short while. Think of the ocean. A single wave rises, shines, and then dissolves back into the sea. For a moment, it appears separate, unique, defined, individual, but its essence was never apart from the ocean. The same is true for you. You are a wave of consciousness rising from the infinite, playing, learning, expressing, and then returning to the whole. Death, then, is not an end. It is a return to vastness, emerging back into what you have always been. As more and more beings remember this truth, the world itself begins to change. Fear loses its hold. Competition softens into cooperation, and violence fades as understanding deepens. When you see another as yourself, harming them becomes unthinkable. When you recognize the earth as a living being, exploiting it feels like self-destruction. Awakening is not just a personal journey. It is the evolution of the collective, a shift from separation to unity. Every generation has felt the pull of this awakening, the quiet yearning for something greater, the sense that life must hold deeper meaning than what the senses reveal. That yearning is the signal of evolution. It is the call of the infinite echoing through the human heart, guiding the species toward higher awareness. Though the path may be slow, it is unstoppable. Consciousness is remembering itself through us. And in this remembrance, life regains its sacredness. The mundane becomes miraculous. The simplest things, a child's laughter, the scent of rain, the warmth of sunlight on skin, become gateways to the divine. The sacred is not confined to temples or rituals. It lives in the ordinary. It waits for you in every breath, every glance, every act of kindness. When awareness touches anything, it turns ordinary moments into eternal ones. The more awake you become, the more you notice that everything is teaching you. The people you meet, the challenges you face, even the moments of silence are all part of your awakening. The universe communicates through experience. What you resist persists. What you embrace transforms. Every difficulty hides a lesson. Every loss conceals a gift. Life is not against you. It is for you, shaping you, refining you, guiding you back toward your true nature. When you begin to trust this process, peace arises naturally. You stop forcing, and start flowing. You no longer measure your worth by what you achieve or possess. You begin to live from presence rather than pursuit. And in that presence, you find something far greater than success. You find harmony. The universe moves through you effortlessly when you stop trying to control it. The awakened life is not free from pain, but it is free from resistance. Pain becomes part of the rhythm, part of the dance. You understand that even in sorrow, beauty exists. The tears that fall are made of the same water that forms the oceans and nourishes the earth. Everything belongs. Nothing is wasted. And perhaps that is the deepest truth. Nothing is separate and nothing is meaningless. Each thought, each sound, each flicker of light is part of an infinite design too vast for the mind to grasp, but perfectly clear to the heart. The heart knows what the mind cannot, that all of life is one vast field of consciousness, expressing itself as form, sound, movement, and silence. To live with this knowing is to live awake. It is to walk gently, to love fully, to speak kindly. It is to see divinity in every face and eternity in every moment. You begin to live as the universe intended, not as a seeker, but as a participant in the eternal unfolding. So take a moment now, breathe. Feel the pulse of life within you. Feel the weight of your body, the stillness beneath your breath. Know that this simple presence is the doorway to infinity. You don't have to go anywhere, read anything, or become anyone. You are already what you seek. The stars above you, the earth beneath you, the consciousness within you, all are one. The separation was only ever a dream. And now the dreamer is beginning to wake. There is a point in every journey where searching fades and something softer takes its place. Not ambition, not desire, but presence. The kind of presence that doesn't reach outward, but rests quietly within itself. It is the turning of consciousness back toward its own light, the moment when the seeker realizes that what they were seeking has always been here, patiently waiting beneath the noise. This is where transformation truly begins, not through striving, but through surrender. The light of awareness does not force change, it illuminates it. It reveals what is false by the simple act of shining. When you bring consciousness to fear, it dissolves. When you bring awareness to pain, it softens. Awareness is the great alchemist, turning shadow into wisdom and confusion into clarity. We are often taught to fight the darkness, but light does not need to fight. It simply shines, and the darkness is gone. The same is true of you. The light that you are does not need to conquer anything. It only needs to remember its own presence. When you stop identifying with the noise of thought and rest in that awareness, you begin to feel a subtle joy that has no cause. It is the joy of simply being, the quiet contentment of existence recognizing itself. Most people mistake joy for excitement, but true joy is quieter. It does not depend on outcomes. It does not shout or sparkle. It hums gently, steadily, like the background music of creation. It is the state of alignment, the natural rhythm of a being who no longer resists what is. And once you taste it, you realize that you have been searching for this peace in every external thing you ever desired. The world, in truth, is a mirror. It reflects your inner state back to you with perfect precision. When you are restless, the world seems chaotic. When you are peaceful, the world appears harmonious. You do not see reality as it is. You see it as you are. That is why inner transformation always precedes outer change. When you shift within, your world rearranges to match the frequency of your awareness. It is not magic, it is law, the law of resonance. Everything vibrates, and like attracts like. The universe is not punishing or rewarding, it is simply mirroring. When you embody gratitude, life gives you more to be grateful for. When you embody fear, life reflects it back to you until you see it clearly enough to release it. Every experience, pleasant or painful, is a mirror designed to awaken you. In that sense, life itself is your teacher. Every person you meet, every challenge you face, every emotion you feel, all are sacred messengers. Some teach you patience, others forgiveness. Some show you your strength, others your vulnerability. But all are guiding you toward one realization, that there is no separation between you and the life you experience. The observer and the observed are one. When this realization deepens, even suffering takes on new meaning. You begin to see that the painful moments were never punishments, they were invitations. They were the universe asking you to look deeper, to find the light hidden within the shadow. You realize that the storm was never against you. It was cleansing you, preparing you to see clearly. The lightning that frightened you was also illuminating the path ahead. As this awareness grows, your relationship with the world softens. You stop trying to control outcomes because you trust the intelligence behind them. You begin to live in dialogue with existence, a silent, wordless conversation between your awareness and the universe's infinite wisdom. You ask through your vibration, and the universe answers through experience. It may not always give you what you want, but it always gives you what you need. Every delay, every detour, every moment of uncertainty carries purpose. When you stop resisting and start listening, life reveals its design. You begin to sense timing, not your timing, but universal timing. The right opportunities arrive, the right people appear, and even the challenges unfold with uncanny precision. You realize that nothing is random. Everything is synchronized with your awakening. This is the mystery of alignment. When you no longer move through life, but life moves through you. The actions you take are not born of effort, but of inspiration. Words flow effortlessly. Choices become clear. You no longer second guess because you are being guided, not by thought, but by intuition. The voice of the deeper self that speaks not in words, but in knowing. Intuition is the bridge between the seen and the unseen, between the human and the divine. It is how consciousness whispers to itself through form. When you honor it, you begin to live in harmony with your own nature. The struggle ends not because life becomes easier, but because you stop fighting against what already is. You flow, and in that flow there is peace. From this space, love begins to express itself more freely, not as a feeling that comes and goes, but as a natural state of being. Love is the gravity of the soul. It pulls everything back toward unity. When you see through the eyes of love, you can no longer separate yourself from the world. You recognize that to harm another is to harm yourself. To judge another is to judge your own reflection. Love dissolves boundaries and reveals the truth that all beings are one consciousness in different costumes. When love becomes your way of seeing, everything changes. The smallest interactions become holy. The simplest gestures carry light. You begin to notice beauty where others see nothing. In the way sunlight filters through leaves, in the sound of footsteps on wet ground, in the quiet eyes of a stranger. Awareness transforms the ordinary into the miraculous. You are that awareness. You are that light that watches the world unfold with infinite patience and compassion. You are the witness that never changes, no matter what the story contains. The body ages, the thoughts shift, emotions rise and fall, but the awareness watching them remains untouched. That awareness is who you truly are. To live from that knowing is to live as peace itself. You no longer chase happiness, you radiate it. You no longer seek purpose, you embody it. Life becomes effortless, not because circumstances are perfect, but because you no longer need them to be. You are anchored in something deeper than circumstance, the silent light of being that shines through all forms and all time. So, pause now, just for a breath. Feel the stillness that exists before this moment and after it. Notice how awareness holds it all. The body, the thoughts, the sounds, the space. That holding presence is eternal. You are that. You always have been. You always will be. The light that you are has no beginning and no end. It watches universes rise and fall like sparks in a night sky. It dreams of form and awakens through experience. It is the witness of creation and the Creator itself. And in remembering that, you are free. There comes a moment when words lose their meaning, when the search itself becomes silent. In that quiet, something timeless begins to move, not as thought, not as emotion, but as pure being. This is the dance of presence, the rhythm of awareness flowing effortlessly through form. You do not need to try to enter it. You are already in it. You have always been. The only veil between you and this realization is the noise of becoming, the constant effort to be more, to reach more, to prove more. But being never asks for proof. It only asks for remembrance. Presence is not something you create through practice or effort. It is what remains when effort ceases. It is the space that opens when the striving stops. Every great wave of inspiration, every act of true creativity, every moment of pure love arises from this field of stillness. It is not an achievement, it is a return to the simplicity of now, to the truth that this moment is already complete. Most people live as though life exists somewhere else, in the next goal, the next possession, the next success. They move through moments without ever truly inhabiting them. But life does not exist in memory or imagination. It lives only here, in this eternal instant. The mind moves in time. Awareness lives outside of it. To awaken is to remember how to be here, fully, completely, unapologetically. When you are fully present, you discover that stillness is not emptiness. It is fullness, overflowing with life. Every sound, every breath, every flicker of light becomes vivid, alive, sacred. You no longer look for meaning in events, because the meaning reveals itself in the act of perceiving. Awareness does not need a story. It is the story. The paradox is that presence is both effortless and the hardest thing to realize. It asks you to do nothing, to stop running, stop analyzing, stop becoming. And yet the mind resists this simplicity because it feeds on motion, on noise, on identity. The mind fears stillness, for in stillness it dissolves. But you are not the mind. You are the silence that remains when thought falls away. To rest in presence is to reclaim your true power. Not the kind that controls, but the kind that allows. The kind that moves mountains, not by pushing, but by being immovable. When you act from presence, your words carry weight, your actions flow with clarity, and your life begins to unfold with precision that feels almost divine. Because it is divine. It is the intelligence of the universe expressing itself through you. You are not separate from that intelligence. It is not something you connect to. It is what you already are. The mind creates stories of distance between you and God, you and peace, you and fulfillment. But those distances exist only in thought. Awareness has no distance. You have never been apart from the source. You only believed you were. When presence becomes your home, fear begins to fade. Fear cannot survive in the light of awareness because fear feeds on illusion, on imagined futures and remembered pasts. Presence dissolves those illusions. In the now, there is no threat, no lack, no incompleteness. There is only being, only life, only awareness observing itself through infinite forms. You start to notice how everything flows in cycles, not as chaos, but as rhythm. Expansion and contraction, creation and dissolution, joy and sorrow are all parts of the same dance. The universe is always in motion, but the awareness behind it never moves. You are both, the stillness and the movement, the silence and the song. To live fully is to dance with both. When this understanding deepens, you begin to experience grace, the effortless unfolding of life when you no longer resist what is. Grace is not something you earn. It is the natural state of alignment. When you stop fighting the current carries you. When you stop forcing the outcome reveals itself. Grace is the realization that life has always been taking care of you, even when you couldn't see it. The mind, of course, will still try to interfere. It will whisper doubts, question the flow, seek control. But awareness sees the mind for what it is, a useful tool, not a master. You can observe its chatter without getting caught in it, the same way you watch waves without drowning. Every time you notice thought and return to presence, you strengthen your connection to truth. Over time, this becomes natural. You stop trying to be present and simply are. You stop meditating on stillness because you become the stillness itself. And from that stillness you live, not withdrawn from the world, but fully immersed in it. Every interaction becomes sacred. Every challenge becomes purposeful. You live as consciousness in motion, anchored in timeless awareness. In that state, you discover the beauty of impermanence. You realize that nothing needs to last to be perfect. Every sunrise, every encounter, every breath is complete in itself. When you let go of attachment, you do not lose beauty. You begin to truly see it. You stop clinging and start appreciating. You understand that everything is passing, and yet nothing ever truly goes away. It simply transforms. This realization brings freedom. Freedom from fear, from expectation, from the burden of becoming. You no longer measure life by achievement or failure. You measure it by depth, by how deeply you feel, how openly you love, how present you are in each moment. Presence is not a destination. It is the heartbeat of life itself. The more you live from presence, the more you radiate peace, and that peace is contagious. Others feel it without knowing why. Your very existence becomes a reminder, a quiet message to everyone you meet that stillness is possible, that peace is real. You do not need to preach it. You embody it. This is how the world changes, not through force, but through presence. A single being who is awake can transform a room without speaking. Their silence speaks louder than any words. Their calm becomes a mirror in which others see their own reflection. Presence awakens presence. Awareness calls to awareness. And slowly, gently, the dream of separation begins to fade. Humanity starts to remember. The noise begins to soften. The dance becomes clearer, not as chaos, but as choreography. Every movement, every breath, every heartbeat is part of the same music. You are that music. You are that rhythm. You are that stillness between the notes that gives the melody its beauty. The dance of presence is eternal, and you have never left it. You have only closed your eyes for a while. Now, there is a secret harmony moving through all things, a rhythm that connects what seems broken, a light hidden inside every shadow. Most people never see it because they are too busy judging the shapes of things instead of feeling the energy that binds them. But once you begin to see with the eyes of awareness, the world changes. The same events that once seemed random or unfair begin to reveal their order, and what once looked like suffering becomes the sculpting hand of the infinite. Light and shadow are not enemies, they are partners in creation. Without shadow, light could not reveal its depth. Without light, shadow could not give shape to the world. Every experience you have, the highs and the lows, the love and the loss, is part of this divine interplay. You are not meant to escape duality. You are meant to see through it. The purpose of life is not to avoid darkness, but to bring awareness into it, to illuminate it from within until even the shadow shines. You may have noticed that your deepest growth has often come through difficulty. Pain cracks open the shell of identity, exposing the rawness of being. It humbles you, softens you, deepens you. It teaches you compassion for yourself and for others who carry invisible burdens. The heart that has broken learns to feel more deeply. The mind that has failed learns to see more clearly. Suffering, when met with awareness, becomes a sacred teacher. Fierce, yes, but endlessly wise. And when awareness meets suffering fully, not by avoiding it, not by drowning in it, but by embracing it, something miraculous happens. The pain does not disappear instantly, but it begins to transform. The heaviness turns to understanding, the chaos to clarity, the fear to freedom. You realize that suffering is not a punishment, but a passage, a bridge between ignorance and wisdom. Every scar becomes a story of awakening. Every wound becomes a window for light to enter. Life is not trying to hurt you, it is trying to open you. The same force that breaks you also rebuilds you, stronger, softer, wiser. It is all one movement, destruction and creation, birth and death, inhale and exhale. The universe breathes through you, teaching you through contrast, revealing its love through polarity. To see this is to awaken to true acceptance. Acceptance is not resignation, it is participation in the deeper order of existence. It is saying yes to life, even when it does not look like what you imagined. It is trusting that every moment has its place, even if the reason is hidden. When you accept what is, you do not become passive, you become aligned. And in that alignment, life begins to flow with grace. This grace cannot be explained, it can only be felt. It is the moment when everything that once seemed wrong starts to make sense. The heartbreak that shaped your empathy, the failure that awakened your creativity, the solitude that deepened your peace, all of it fits perfectly once you see the pattern. Nothing was ever wasted. Nothing was ever outside the plan. When you look back from awareness, you see that even your mistakes were part of the design. The detours, the delays, the disappointments, all of them brought you here, to this very moment of realization. Life was never happening to you, it was happening for you, orchestrated by the same intelligence that spins galaxies and grows forests. Every step, even the painful ones, has led you closer to truth. This realization fills you with gratitude, not the kind that depends on things going well, but the kind that sees beauty in everything. Gratitude turns experience into wisdom. It transforms survival into serenity. When you begin to live in gratitude, even challenges become blessings in disguise. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" And that question opens doors. It changes the quality of your perception. You stop seeing life as an obstacle course and begin to see it as a living classroom. Every event becomes a lesson in awareness. Every person becomes a mirror. Every emotion becomes a messenger. Awareness turns the chaos of existence into the harmony of awakening. When this harmony begins to play through you, you feel it everywhere, in the silence between words, in the rhythm of your breath, in the pulse of your heart. You start to sense that everything is music, that creation itself is a vast symphony composed by consciousness. Every being, every moment, every sound is a note in that eternal melody. Some notes are soft, some are loud, some are dissonant, but all are necessary to complete the song. And you are both the listener and the musician. The song of life is not separate from you. It is being played through you. Every choice, every feeling, every thought adds to the cosmic harmony. Even your silence adds depth to the music. The universe is improvising through your existence, and there are no wrong notes. When you live from this awareness, judgment fades. You stop labeling things as good or bad, right or wrong. You see that everything simply is, and that everything serves a purpose beyond the surface. The rain that ruins your plans is watering the seeds you cannot see. The endings that break your heart are clearing space for beginnings that will one day make you grateful. Life's rhythm is perfect, even when the melody feels uncertain. And as judgment dissolves, compassion blooms. You begin to understand that everyone is learning, just like you. Some are lost in darkness, some are walking toward the light, and some are both at once. You stop blaming and start seeing, not the mask, but the essence behind it. Compassion is the natural fragrance of awareness. It arises when you see clearly that all beings are parts of the same whole, moving through the same divine process of remembering. That understanding changes everything. You begin to forgive easily, not because others were right, but because you no longer need the weight of resentment. You stop demanding that life be fair, and instead you recognize that it is intelligent. You realize that love is not something fragile to protect. It is the very fabric of existence. It cannot be broken. It can only be remembered. So whenever you face darkness again, and you will, because contrast is the teacher of awareness, remember this: do not fight the shadow. Bring your light to it. Do not resist what hurts. Look at it with openness. Every shadow exists only because of the light that creates it. You are that light. And when you see that clearly, the shadow disappears into its source. This is the harmony of light and shadow, the dance of the infinite playing as you.